The Western Railway Museum is seeking donations to preserve a 3-car BART train. We are the only museum that will be preserving these historic transit vehicles to tell the complete story of BART's history. Cars 1164, 1834, and 329 will join the collection at the Western Railway Museum in summer 2024. This is their story. On April 20, 1958, the Key system ran their last trains ending Trans-Bay Rail service. However, 1 year prior, in 1957, the Bay Area Rapid Transit District, or BART, was first conceived as a new, state-of-the-art monorail system. By the 60s, it was ultimately decided to stick with a more conventional rail design. The Rohr Corporation was awarded a contract on July 3, 1969, to build 250 A cars and 100 B cars at a cost of $66.7 million. Rohr, based in Chula Vista in San Diego County, was a leading force in the aerospace industry. The contract with BART was their introduction to the rail industry. Rohr would later go on to build cars for Washington's Metro and the Amtrak Turboliner. The first prototype cars arrived in 1970 and began testing. By 1972, the production cars started arriving and would steadily enter service throughout the 1970s. 14 years after the last Key system train, BART would start service on September 11, 1972. BART claimed it was the first all-new rapid transit system built in the United States for over 50 years. Trains initially ran between MacArthur and Fremont, while the rest of the system would open in stages. As part of this first order from Rohr came A cars 120 and 164. Car 120 was delivered on June 1, 1972, and later entered service in September. Car 164 was delivered on January 18, 1973, and was put in service by June of that year. Car 120 made presidential history while President Richard Nixon was on tour in the Bay Area during his re-election campaign. On September 27, 1972, President Nixon visited BART and rode from San Leandro to Lake Merritt. Nixon told reporters, "I've been all over the world, and this is the smoothest ride I've ever had." Following the ride, President Nixon went upstairs to Central Control and remarked, "You know, it does look like NASA." With President Nixon's visit came a $38.1 million gift in the form of a federal capital grant from the Urban Mass Transit Administration to help pay for an additional order of 100 more Rohr-built cars. By 1975, A car 164 was serving as the engineering test car. It was used to test malfunctions in the chopper electrical system that supplied and controlled power to the traction motors. It was also instrumented to measure heat that transferred from axle disc brakes to motor gearboxes. In late 1976, car 120 was unfortunately damaged in 2 separate arson fires, which resulted in it being removed from service. By 1978, BART realized that it had ordered too many head-end A cars and not enough of the mid-train B cars. It was determined that 35 more B cars would be needed for increasing service demands. Instead of ordering new B cars from Rohr, it was decided to convert A cars that were previously damaged into B cars. This was considerably cheaper, being $35,000 to $55,000 for the conversion. Car 120 was selected to be converted in this batch of 35 new B cars and, in 1981, rolled out of the Hayward shop with its new number 834. At the same time BART realized it had ordered too many A cars, they found that it took longer than anticipated to shorten trains after the morning rush. Trains would need to go to the yard and have B cars removed for midday service just to be added again for the evening rush. BART's solution to this problem was the addition of a new car design. The C cars, later known as C1 cars, had flat ends with operator cabs and could be used in mid-train or at the ends of the train, depending on operational needs. Trains could now be quickly broken in two shorter consists during the midday hours. French car builder Alstom won the low bid for the C1 car contract at a bid of $180 million. The C cars included 4 short-lived prototype cars and 150 production cars. The car bodies and internal wiring were built in France and then sent to Union City, where final construction took place. The first C cars entered service on March 28, 1988. Car 329 entered service that very year. In 1997, BART reached its 25th anniversary. As part of a system-wide rehabilitation program, all remaining 439 Roar A and B cars went through a midlife rebuild and emerged as A2 and B2 cars. Some of these upgrades included new AC propulsion systems, rebuilt trucks and suspension, new brake systems, and new ADA improvements. Along with these new upgrades came new numbers for each car. In 2002, both 164 and 834 returned to service as 1164 and 1834. By the 2010s, BART was running the oldest rapid transit fleet in the country. On June 10, 2012, BART awarded the Bombardier Transit Corporation to build 410 new cars. This new fleet was termed the Fleet of the Future. This was the beginning of the end for the original fleet, now given the name Legacy Fleet. In 2016, the first D car was delivered to the Hayward test track, and by late 2019, the first Legacy cars were sent to the scrapyard for recycling. By May 2023, the final C cars were retired. C1 car 311 was the last scrapped on June 15, 2023, leaving only 329 in storage at the Hayward yard. Finally, on September 10, 2023, the last scheduled Legacy train departed Millbrae bound for Richmond, closing a chapter to 51 years of transit history in the Bay Area. The Western Railway Museum now needs your help to save one of each Legacy car. 1164, 1834, and 329 will be put on display in the Loring C. Jensen Memorial Car House until the proposed Rapid Transit History Center can be built. With your help, we can raise the needed $24,000 to transport these historic BART cars to the museum, where they can tell the full story of how BART shaped the Bay Area we live in today.